Corruption is the biggest national challenge facing democratic governance in Nigeria and a number of other countries, a report has shown. The report, titled Open Society Barometer by non-governmental organization Open Society Foundation, says democracy remains the most popular form of government globally, with 86% of respondents in a survey saying they'll live in a democratic state, and nearly a third, that is 62%, preferring it with other systems. The Open Society Barometer serves as a global reality check, asking people each year about the issues affecting their lives, communities, countries, and how best to address them. In this year's report, the Open Society Foundation surveyed about 36,344 respondents across 30 countries between May 18 and July 21st of 2023. The countries surveyed include Argentina, Bangladesh, Brazil, China, Colombia, Egypt, Ethiopia, France, Germany, Ghana, India, Italy, Japan, and Kenya. Others are Malaysia, Mexico, Nigeria, Pakistan, Poland, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, and 7 other countries. 92% of respondents from Nigerians said it's important for them to live in a country that is democratically governed, while 69% prefer democracy to other systems of government. Challenges identified as facing countries in the world include human rights violations, climate change, corruption, poverty, inequality, and political violence, among others. Corruption beats climate change and poverty and inequality when respondents were asked about the most important challenges facing their country. In Nigeria, corruption was very high as a threat to democracy, with only 27% of respondents in the country trust politicians to work in their best interest. The report also stated that more has to be done about corruption to bring about the trust in democracy and to build that belief Nigerians have that is the best form of governance. But the big question on the big story for today, is it a lack of legislature or failure of judiciary or the anti-graft agencies that have made corruption thrive in the most populous black nation on the planet? And what can be done to curb it? Well, this and more is what this edition of the Big Story is all about. And we're talking about corruption, hindrance to democratic development in Nigeria. And that's what we're looking at or talking about, looking at that very report released just a day before yesterday by the Open Society Foundation, a global organization that deals with the issues that concerns the planet. And talking about democracy itself, they feel corruption is making Nigerians not trust in democratic rule. Well, anyway, trust us to always have that discussion with a guest, and that's what we're doing right here. And we have no other person but Comrade FM&TV. You do know he helps to handle the security watch on our radio platform, and he'll be helping to look at these issues with us together. Good morning and welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Michael. Good man, welcome of the victory. Well,
I hope that's not a corrupt way of putting it to me, but honestly, don't mind me for saying that. Now, honestly, it is a well-detailed report by the Open Society Foundation, and I went through the report yesterday, and I looked at it extensively. And it's more like a pure reflection of the minds of many Nigerians about, yes, of all Nigerians, especially as it concerns corruption. But my question is, we've had 24 years of uninterrupted democratic rule. Do Nigerians feel the country is far more or less corrupt than it was in 1999 when we had democracy return after a long span of military rule? Do they feel less? Do they feel corruption is less or more as it was in 1999?
Of course, on that, it will be a bit difficult to compare the two scenarios.
Okay.
Because when you are in the military rule, you cannot actually quantify the level of corruption.
Yes.
Because of the secrecy of information.
Okay.
But in the civil rule, everybody is entitled
open to information.
I did remember when the late stage of the West, of Bafeda Olowo, was still very much around on this planet Earth.
Yes.
When he said, the worst civilian rule is better than the best military rule.
Okay.
And I think I agree with him. Now let us take a little clip from what happened in the process that built up the democratic dispensation in 1999. That was from the time of IBB. You remember there was a time the man dipped his hand into the treasury of Nigeria and was building party secretariats for everyone. Nobody was able to quantify the value of those properties. There was a time he bought Jetta Executive, when Jetta Executive just came out, for all the Nigerian military
officers.
Yes, nobody knew how much was spent on it. There was a time, even the wife would go to an occasion and donate money from the federal treasury. Nobody questioned that, because you cannot talk because of the boot of the guns. But if that were to happen in the civilian era, many people will cry wolf over it. But since we cannot quantify what happened in the military, we have to put our tentacles within what is happening in the democratic
and that's where my question lies. Yes. Now, because I want us to look at the mindset. Looking at that Open Society Foundation, yes, they only wanted to see what Nigerians feel.
For Nigeria.
Now, looking at how we feel in 1999, I'm really happy we brought you on board. 1999, you were very vibrant, knowing what was happening.
Vibrant again now?
Well, you are still vibrant. So let's leave your vibrancy. But what I'm saying is, looking at how Nigerians perceived corruption in 1999, and look at how they also perceive corruption now, would you feel it has increased?
The corruption level in Nigeria increases on daily basis, because those who are waiting to take from the federal treasury are more than those who are already taking. So for every opportunity they have to get into that seat is to, first of all, to enrich themselves and their immediate cronies.
So all you're saying, Nigerians feel we are now far more corrupt.
We are far more corrupt than what we used to be. Is it not in this era we have the minor gate? What of somebody that is in court now that is 7 trillion naira case hanging on his neck? What of the person that they are saying that, okay, he has to have a plea bargain with billions of dollars, using Nigerian treasury to stand as a collateral to collect loans from the international bodies? Who is saying anything about it?
I'm sorry about that.
Are we not aware that we are using our money to build rail and cars for other countries? So corruption has actually increased in Nigeria because nobody is checkmating anybody. And if that is the case, why can somebody say we have come down in level of corruption? Now, look at our infrastructures. There is no money to run them, no funds to run them. Look at our doctors, the Japa syndrome. Everybody is getting out of the country because there is no money to meet the facilities in our health sector.
Okay, now as much as you've made that stand that Nigerians feel that we are more corruption is thriving more now than it was in 1999. I want us to, because all I always enjoy doing is I like looking at the statistics. It's a pointer and a confirmation of the direction you're going. Now, Nigeria was now ranked 98th least corrupt nation in 1999. And fast forward to 2022, it was ranked 150th. Least corrupt nation out of 180, according to the 2022 Corruption Perception Index reported by Transparency International. But putting the ranking aside, I want us to put that aside for now. And why do you feel the country is far more corrupt now? Because that's what you said, than we were in 1999.
Look at the rate of exodus of industries from Nigeria. It's a number one pointer. Because if we are not corrupt and we are plowing the money where necessary, most of these companies will not leave. It is corruption that is bringing down the power sector. It is the corruption that is bringing down the energy sector, that is the petroleum downstream.
Yes.
It is the corruption that is making all this our strikes every day, labor going on strike, going on this, going on that. Now, if not for corruption actually, why are we talking of palliatives in this time of our history? Why are we not able to plow those monies into infrastructure development? Look at the past administration that you have to start feeding school children. Did anybody account for those school children feeding? What do they call it then? Where did those money go into? How much was voted into that sector? How much was spent? How much could not be traced? Did anybody ask questions about that? How many youths now are multi-millionaires without having a single office to sit at and say, even I am the MD or I'm the GM? There is nothing like that. Now, everyone these days is looking at how much I can make, irrespective of how I made it, is not the issue.
Okay.
So the corruption has eaten so deep. Like as I said some time ago, that the fighting of corruption is more deadly than the corruption itself. Look at the person who was fighting corruption in this that this administration inherited. Where is he today? All those people he was having court cases against, about 37 of them. Most of them are ministers, most of them are, they have various government appointments now. But the man who stood his ground that, yes, these people are corrupt, I'm going to prosecute them, is in detention. So how do you now say that corruption is reducing? If somebody is accused of taking federal money or public money, and the person that is accusing that man of taking that public money is being prosecuted, while the man that is taking that money is working and living in affluence, tell me, what is that one indicating? That the corruption index is rising. And Nigeria cannot come out of this thing until we have a proper legal structure that deals with these cases.
We'll come to solutions, because as a pointer to our discussion, we always would love looking at solutions.
Yes.
Even if we are raising the dust, at least we should know how to resettle and rather settle it and see how we can really push forward. But let's move forward our discussion. And now, according to a Transparency International 2003 detailed report on why corruption thrives in Nigeria, it gave some reasons as high level of market and political monopolization. He also talked about high level of bureaucracy and inefficiency of administrative structure. He talked about low economic freedom, amongst others. But for you, what do you feel is responsible for promoting corruption in the country, like making it thrive? What seems to be the engine or the driver of corruption in this country?
One of the problems is inequality of appointment at government level. Lopsided appointments. Other sectors of the country will feel that they are being cheated, and the only way to get their own pound of flesh is to go.
So you still put it on the table of the government?
Exactly, because you cannot control corruption. Likewise myself, I cannot control corruption. Corruption must be controlled from the center. And once the center is corrupt, everybody down the drain is corrupt. When Mr. President gives a directive, and the person that's supposed to carry out that account did not carry it out, is that not a corruption already? That is a moral corruption. You mustn't have taken, or you may not have taken from the financial sector, but you are morally corrupt. And once you are morally corrupt, everything crashes down. Now, come down a little bit. How much have we voted into defense in the last 12 years? Has defense improved? Have they not been spending those money? Is somebody not responsible for those money?
So are you talking about inequality?
Inequality. Putting a round peg in a square hole is a major issue. Because once you do that, and this man doesn't know what to do at that point in time, you rely on your lieutenants. And your lieutenants will capitalize on that is a singular action that this man does not know it. Let us do it this way. I remember when I was in, no, I will not use myself as an example. This man knows that his boss is not lettered. He cannot read, he cannot write. So he came to the accountant and said, look, this job we have done is 50,000 naira, but I'm going to bring a bill of 100,000. When the man comes to sign, he will just look at it. Don't be afraid. He's not seeing anything. We sign. After he signs, give him his 50, keep the remaining 50. You take 25. When I come, give him my 25. That is just the problem, because the man there does not know. When he just this is the paper, he will just do like this. Okay. He leaves. And that money is gone. And there is no way he can prove that he did not collect 100,000. So if we want to actually get this corruption out of our system, one, let us have our proper electoral system.
Like I said, we'll come to solutions, because I will love solutions. But I want us to still look basically on what seems to be making it thrive. Because you said, and you gave reasons for your belief that corruption in 1999, or rather corruption this year or last year, far supersedes that of 1999. And even pre-99. And you gave reasons for that. So the basic question on the minds of many Nigerians, okay, we keep talking about it, we keep having arrests, we keep having issues, seminars, basic talk all about corruption, but yet it still thrives. So what seems to be promoting it? I know you said inequality and not putting the right person
in the right position.
In the right position.
Yes.
But what again? Because if you look at all of this, it's basically what seems to be happening in almost every clime. On the mining, it is more pronounced here. But what is also giving us the mind to see that, well, we are almost looking as if corruption is something that is almost legitimate?
Because nobody is being prosecuted. Nobody is being punished for any offense. And look at the executive of the government, of every Nigerian government now. The executive controls both the judiciary and the legislature. The legislature passed the law. The judiciary interpreted it and jailed some few persons. Executive comes in and releases those persons. What do you think will happen to the other people? Everybody will now have their own mind to also go there. I know it is either I am jailed after 6 months, I am out, the money belongs to me, or I go to the court and then I go for a plea bargain. Then I come back to my house, I sit down, the money is already in my coffers.
So you feel the lack of judicial process
is a major ban to this issue. Very, very fundamental. Because if there is no legal system that prosecutes all these people, everybody will tend to do it.
Okay, now let's look at what Transparency International said in 2003. They talked about low economic freedom.
Yes.
How has that also been a factor to help promote, or a reason for the corruption tribe? Low economic freedom.
If you don't have economic freedom, you know, there is something they say, an empty stomach cannot be a good political advisor. Because if you are hungry, you cannot be a good political advisor. What you want to do is to grab what you can and go. If the government can open up this economy, level of corruption will reduce. If you have works at hand, I have mine at hand, every other person has one or two things to do. It will remove or reduce drastically our concentration on stealing from the federal treasury. Or the state, even the state local government, they have federal treasuries.
Okay.
So let everybody be free, having one thing or the other doing. If the economy is decentralized,
yes,
you will see what happens. Open up so many sections, which you say will come up in the solution. Part of it.
Basically, look at that.
Definitely, the economy is being stifled. That only few people have that.
Do you see these as more of a design by the political class?
It may not be a direct ploy. Then it's possible most of them don't even have this idea. I'm not berating them, but that is the position. They may not do it deliberately, but somebody somewhere may not know that if I do this is what will happen. Government, you have to plot a graph. We are here in 2023. This is the level of our economic growth.
Advancement.
Yes. Where do we want to be in 2050? Nigeria, we used to have they call it 2010 in those days. Now from 2010 they say 2020. Now they have moved it to 2050.
Do you see Nigerians, if we are really prosperous and there's enough to feed us around, do you see corruption reducing on that?
What is corruption? Corruption is your ability to take what does not belong to you because you are in need of that thing that you could not get.
So if we're less in need, less the corruption.
Exactly. If you have what it takes now, your children's school fees, no problem with them. Your accommodation, you are 100% comfortable. Do you now come to a quest and start stealing? It's not what you do with it. Most of these European countries, let us not go there.
Yeah.
Some of the multinational companies we have in Nigeria here, most of them are zero corruption. They are corruption free because you are contented with whatever you get.
But I really want to take you up there because you talked about most of these multinationals.
Yes.
But we do know that corruption cases are hovering around the heads of most of these multinationals. They might be doing the right thing in other climes. But when they come to Nigeria, it's a different ball game.
Because who is the one that is encouraging them? It's you and I that are domiciled here that is encouraging them. You cannot just come over from Europe or the West or anywhere and start your corruption business here.
So that brings me to my initial question. What is the factor, the reason that when now you come to Nigeria, you now act as a different man?
Because I want to outdo you, you want to outdo me. We want to see that I am bigger than you in the society, you are bigger than me in the society. That's where the whole problem starts. And nobody is checking us to see that what you and I are doing is wrong. The inability for the government to checkmate the system is the backbone of this corruption we are talking about. Because even the man that is seated there is also doing the same thing. You can submit a bill of 20,000 naira. Somebody will tell you, no, go and make this 100,000.
Okay.
And you, of course, you know what to do. The matter ends there. When the black man, when the foreigners come, no foreigner enters into your country and start committing fraud the first day. Somebody must show him the way. And you know these people, they are so much crafty that whenever you show them the way and they master it, they become a problem to be controlled. It happens in so many African countries. Unless, of course, you're able to tame these people. And as far as the government has not been able to put their feet on ground, this is my financial policy, nothing will work. Now, if any money leaves CBN today, do they have a tracking system that monitors the money in the open market and comes back to the CBN? They don't have it. But the dollar cannot move that way. Once the dollar leaves the treasury, they know where it is going, they know when it comes back to the system. So it's a revolving issue. Yeah. That is why you are able to stockpile dollars and naira in your house, even bury some in the ground. And you now go and print more that naira is short in circulation.
So all you're saying is inefficiency of our government status and structure that's causing
that is exactly. And we don't have enough laws, reasonable and cogent laws, to tackle these issues.
I'll take you up on that laws later, because many will argue that rather than laws, we do not have the teeth, but we do have a lot of laws and policies. But anyway, the teeth to ensure that those laws really bite seems to be lacking, or maybe they're in the milk stage. But I'll plead with you to hold on. We are now in that stage we need to go on a break. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion centered on that very report from Open Society Foundation, a global network that deals with the issue of democracy and how it tends to thrive. And funny enough, they came out with a very damning report saying that in Nigeria, corruption might just be the major enemy of democracy to thrive on the black or the most popular black nation on the planet. Let's go on a break.